old are you, Gran?
88.
No, you're not. Older than that.
No, 88.
No, you're 90, you are.
I'm 90.
Yeah. When was you born? Remember?
Right?
Do you remember when you were born?
Well, I'm 81, 91 in April.
Yeah. And it's now 1987, isn't it?
Right?
Now 1987.
Yeah.
Where was you born?
Well, I was born up in Benton, in a place called Benton.
Near where? Near Cornwood, isn't it?
Near Conwood.
Up Plymouth.
Mm.
What did your father do for a living?
Right?
What did your father do for a living?
Clay worker? No, my father was a clay worker.
Was he?
Mm.
And your mother come from there as well?
No, mother comes up into St. Also. Because they went up there in service.
What was she called?
She was called Dawn.
What was her Christian name?
Christian name Nellie.
Nellie Love, was it?
No.
What was your dad called then?
Jack.
Jack Mudge.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born Myrtle Mudge.
That's right.
Alright, Granfer?
Yeah.
Alright. You just tell me when you was born. You start from when you was born and, just give us a rundown of your life. So how old are you now?
88. 88.
Yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your grandfather was a Flanagan? Your grandmother was a Flanagan, wasn't it?
My grandfather was a Flanagan. My mother, of course, was a Flanagan, and my father was all born, and all Cornish we were. They were the pioneers of the buses between Bodmin and St. Austell. The bus they had, I remember as a boy, with the word industry on the side of it. And they used to carry about 12 people, Mondays and Fridays to St. Austell. Well, then it was superseded by the hard, tired motor bus, which broke down repeatedly going up to Mingle Hill. That was run by Albert Klein in Bodmin. And you had to take the engine out every time you'd done a journey over there and back again, and restrip it and put it together again.
You saying your father was
A stonemason.
Yeah.
And his father was a stonemason. They went around and they built most of the viaducts in Cornwall, all the railway viaducts. Him and his father got the stone for the viaducts. And used to walk everywhere where he went to work.
Yeah.
And he worked on the General Post Office Bodmin. That was one of his major jobs, last job I think, the General Post Office, which was formerly the old Bodmin Hospital, which I helped to tear down as a boy myself. And then he worked on the Masonic Hall, and also he worked on the cut the stone for St. Lawrence's Hospital. That was a big job that was for Bodmin. It was about 3 years contract. That was
Foster.
St. Lawrence's Hospital was one of the best jobs for that sort of
that
trade,
was-
building trade.
That was Foster.
For Bodmin.
He was called Robert Rowe, was he?
I was called Robert Rowe after my father.
He was a good man, was he?
Good man, and he was a genuine man in that respect. He was a man that would work equally as well if the boss was there or whether he wasn't there. And he worked in the old quarry up there where the Catholic school is built for a number of years, and I've seen him there working away, cutting stones there. One man, the raising the stone, and they cut the stone there day after day, and he wouldn't stop. Oh, I've seen him there working.
How old was he when he died then?
He was 80. He was 80 when he died.
I remember him. He had a big moustache, didn't he?
That's right. You remember him now, Alan?
It's at Ironboard Street.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
I was only about 3 or 4 at the time,
Yes.
back in the early 50s.
That's right.
When did you win the first World War then? When did you join the army? How old were you?
I was called up when I was 18, and I was doing a training in Salisbury Plain. I think I'd done about 9 months training, and I was shipped across to France. I was 19 when I was in France.
Hard,
And,
was it hard?
eh?
Very hard? The trenches?
Oh, it was well, in the trenches, it was very hard, and discipline was very harsh, really. If you were caught asleep, you could have been shot in the First World War. And people had what they call numbered, I think it was number 2 field punishment, was tied up to a gun wheel for punishment for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon for punishment, you know.
You didn't get caught then?
No. But I think the discipline for a youngster of 19, it was conditions, I mean, it's very hard. And,
All your friends got killed?
pardon?
A lot of your friends got killed, and your brother?
Oh, yes, and really, I sometimes think that it was a loss of life. It wasn't quite necessary. I remember an officer who was a brave man, who was there attacking the Hindenburg line, which was a line in depth, say, for about 12 miles. We had to break through 12 miles in depth alone. An officer, there was a gap left in the wire thickly so that men could go for it. He stood up and he said, all this way. Well, of course, men converged on this gap, and of course they were literally slaughtered, you know. It was a bright afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I remember. And as time went on, well, we took a bit to the right, it was the wrong direction. Instead of going straight for the German lines, we were enfiladed with machine gun fire. And I had a pick stuck down on top of my pack for digging in. And I was going along, suddenly I heard a ping. And I threw myself to the ground. I was down on the ground almost as soon as I heard this ping. And this pick hit me in the back of the neck, the center of the pick, like, and the handle and the pick points was out here. And anyway, I went on a bit farther and I got wounded. And a fella helped me off my pack and that. I found a machine gun bullet had gone through this side of my pack, hit the canteen, threw some bread and cheese, knocked the loaves of salt in the handle, and out through the other side. And I escaped unhurt. The bullet went through, straight through, one side and the other. He helped me off. Anyway, I was there, and there was a couple of chaps there wounded at the York and Lancashire Regiment. They'd been there since early morning. And one was shot in the thigh, both thighs. Another one was hit in the back. And I was laying out there with a tarpaulin to keep the sun off them, off their eyes, bright afternoon. And one said to me, I'll give you 10 francs if you could get me a stretcher bearer, because I'm a married man with 2 children. So I called to our stretcher bearers, that's the regiment, the Dorset regiment. I said, the man badly wounded here, been here for a number of hours. So he said, who is it? Well, I said, the man from the York and Lancashire regiment. So he said, they must pick up their own men first. Well, this man had been there since 6 o'clock in the morning, and their regiment had got repulsed. We went out to try and take over. The other man was hit in the back, and I tried I wasn't badly wounded, but I tried to spread his legs, but rigor mortis was setting in and couldn't move, he couldn't. So what happened to him, I don't know. I don't know what happened to the other man, he was shot in the back. But I was putting my arms over a stretcher bearer's shoulder and hobbled back with him, and they put me to carry the Red Cross flag, and the Germans was pinging at us all the way back.
Yeah. When you come out of the army, you went joined sponsors, did you?
Yes.
What year was that?
In 1919. I served in Ireland before that a bit.
What was that like in Ireland?
Oh, not so bad as what it is today. You know, there's trouble there, you know. After the rebellion in 1916, they rebelled and that, but it wasn't so vicious as it was today, really, not near so vicious. I mean, you go down to the town and in pairs, but you wouldn't, of course, you took your life in your hand, even in Londonderry. I was in Londonderry most of the time, but of course, when you were young, you didn't see the danger, I suppose, really.
When you came back to Bobbin, you then went in as a nurse in St. Lawrence's, did you?
Went in St. Lawrence's, and glad to have a job, because there was, I think, quite 2 million unemployed then. And there I stayed, and of course you had to make an effort to become a different, I suppose, a new setup. Then you had to qualify to become a mental nurse, and it took you 3 years to qualify. You had one examination after 12 months, you had another one after 3 years. And if you didn't qualify, well, out you went. I've done, all told, I think I've done 36 years. A long period of duties in those days. Quite one period under the Geddes Acts, we had to do 66 hours a week. And
Very much
I used to get £10 a month. You had to record on the clock every half an hour, say that you were awake.
How many nights did you go on for?
I used to do 28 consecutive nights without a break. And I used to have 7 nights on. 28 on, 7 off. 28 on. I think I've done about 12 years of that, and I'd have been better off in Dartmoor. I would have been. As regards my social life, I never saw daylight winter time.
Was you father of any children?
I think I had about 4 children then, to rear.
Yeah.
Then. Mother had the trouble home there by night with them all, crying and one thing and another. She had the trouble, and up there every day I couldn't sleep, you know, children down below, wet weather, always underneath. Couldn't sleep with them.
What was father like as a little boy, Bob?
What was what?
Bobby's my father.
Oh, your father was a good baby. He was a good baby, a bonny child. I can see him standing up now. A bonny. In fact, he took first prize in a baby show, he did.
In a sugar box.
And he was standing up now, a little boy, I suppose, how old would he be? About 12 months old, 18 months old?
18 months.
18 months, catching all the size of this sugar box. And he never cried a lot, he didn't. But his brother John was crying most of the time, but I think he was sick. I think he was born with this hernia trouble. I think he was, you know. But your father was a good boy. A good boy. Good boy all his life. He was a good boy.
Fine boy, fine looking boy too.
He was. He was a good lad. There's no doubt about that. He was a good lad.
You retired in 1955?
Pardon?
When did you retire?
I retired in 1955.
Yeah, you bought a car then, didn't you?
I bought a car.
How old were you?
Oh, let's see, I must have been, well, let's see, I must have been, I suppose, let's see now, I don't know, I think I was,
You must have been 56.
bought a car, and I think I was the first one I bought. I think I must have been, when I started to drive first, about that period, 55.
Yeah.
And I learned out to Stalin, off the main roads,
Yeah.
out there with Arlene and Cyril, and
Yeah.
was able to go around there a bit when it works and that.
Yeah.
Learned how to reverse, and
Then you went to work for Viking Clifton, didn't you? Looking after
then
that?
I was out looking after bike at Clifton, out there for 2 years. And a wonderful old gentleman he was. Always shook me by the hand. Every night I came in, oh, Mr. Rose arrived. He always shook me by the hand, always pleased to see you. And when I retired, he said, you know, you've added a few years to my life, he said. And he said, you've looked after me wonderfully well, and he gave me a cheque for £100. That's a lot of money in those days, £100, you know.
Was it then you became a bailiff, court bailiff?
I went to county court bailiff
Yeah.
for 3 years.
Yeah.
But of course I reached the age of 60, but I was in the position where police sergeants didn't affect his pension, but they took 10 shilling off my pension every 12 months I stopped there. Therefore my pension was reduced after 3 years by 30 bob a week. Well, I never had more than about £6 a week pension. So my pension was dropping back, so I got 60, and I done 3 years. I was able to go on the dole for a bit. And I went and looked after my brother in London.
He was mayor of
And
Barking, wasn't
where else did I go? I looked after another gentleman out here for a
He
while.
wasn't mayor of Bodmin, he was mayor of the place where he lived in.
Pardon?
He said he was mayor of Bodmin, I said he wasn't
No,
mayor
he
of
was the mayor of
Bodmin.
Barking
Barking.
in London. He was. He was mayor of Barking in London. He was. And I had stopped with him until he died, and stopped with his wife until he died. He was up there for, I suppose, nearly 12 months, weren't we? Nearly about.
You had a good life in Granfer Rowe?
Well, yes, we can't complain. I mean, after all, I mean, life has its compensations. I mean, I've retired from St. Lawrence's Hospital now nearly in the 32nd year. Well, I think I'm about one of the oldest pensioners in there, and one of the oldest pensioners that ever drew a pension, I think. For 32 years, I think so, because they retired at 50 at one time, but there weren't very many, not many drew a longer pension, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know, but I think at the present moment, I am the oldest pensioner
Yeah.
and the longest age pensioner.
Yeah.
I think so, in my career anyway.
Yeah.
I think so. But I could, I have some...
Say it again?
One woman. In my prior and after marriage.
Yeah.
Now there you are. Now there isn't very many can say that.
No,
But
that's true.
I'm afraid that mine, there's only fear that kept me away. I've had my chances, mine.
Yeah.
I think it's only fear. I think it's only fear of the consequences. I might have gone undressed. I think there's only that fear because I had so many babies. I made so many babies. That fear. I'm not that I was better than anyone else. I wasn't better than anyone else. No.
When did you get married? When you were...
Hey?
How old were you when you got married?
Oh, I was quite young. Well, I wasn't quite 19. So.
So you were married for 70 years?
Yeah. I suppose so, yeah, it must be. We got our diamond wedding anyway.
Yes, we got our gold wedding and diamond wedding.
Yeah.
We forgot all about it. Just one day or two after.
But not up and down a bit, mind. So it's touch and go. Better fit I did, I think. Like that, you know. So there you are, we all get in that corner, you know, sometimes. You all get exasperated, all of us. No matter who it is, I don't trouble who it is. They all get in a bus called. I remember the fellow there that come in there, he just come in the morning, he said, I had a row with the old woman. Of course, she wouldn't be married there now. I gets out of bloody bed to come in here in this bloody place to work, to keep her. She's on her bloody sleeping, he said. I felt like strangling that back. This morning before I come in. But then there you are, you see. There's thousands like that. Thousands, millions of them.
Now, a buzzard who spent Sunday afternoons swooping on people at random in Bodmin wasn't aggressive, but lovelorn. That was the explanation today from the falconer who caught the bird after his aerial attacks left at least 2 men scratched and bleeding.
Buzzards are a fairly common sight around Bodmin, but they generally don't behave like Claley. He'd been seized by the RSPCA from someone who was keeping him illegally in London and passed to expert falconer Hugh Bunce, who spent weeks trying to help him return to the wild. But yesterday the bird began diving on people in Westheath Road. He stole one man's hat and made another stagger with the force of his impact. This man's son was one of the victims.
And he came from behind him and struck him in the back of the neck. It, like, done a dive towards him. And he came in to me, and he said, he said, I've had some fright out there, Father. So I said, in what way? What do you mean? Oh, he said, a blooming bird. He said, a huge bird came in and whoo, hit me right in the back of the neck. I put my hand up, and he said, well, there, he said, there's blood on my finger.
I thought, a nice buzzard, I'll get some pictures. So I went and got my camera out and took all my pictures. And finished taking them, and I went to go indoors again and put the camera away. And as I got to my back door, this bird come along and just caught me on the back of the head right on, just went back to front. And there.
Back in the familiar surroundings of Hugh Bunce's garden today, Claley looked docile, even friendly towards the falconer. So what had made this buzzard behave so oddly?
Well, this one was obviously taken as a young bird and taken too young from the nest. And the people who took him got him to think that humans are his own species and not buzzards. And so he just associates that humans are his mates and not buzzards.
So when he did go for people, he wasn't really attacking them?
No, I think probably 2 things were happening. One, he was looking for a mate, so he was trying to attract a mate. And 2, if he'd taken up a territorial area, he was probably just trying to scare off some of the people. I don't think he would have done them any harm at all.
Does this mean now that unfortunately you've failed in your attempt to reintroduce him to the wild? Will he never be able to get on in the wild now?
Yes, I wouldn't say I've failed. I mean, he's been free for 19 weeks. He's been coming back to be fed, so from that point of view, we've succeeded. But obviously, because of the imprinting long before we had him, he's never going to be safe to go free. There's too much risk that he may possibly hurt somebody, or somebody may think he's going to hurt them and hit him with a stick or something and kill him. So.